About 9 in 10 women take one medication during pregnancy, and 7 in 10 at least one prescription medicine during pregnancy. Hi there, my name is Melissa, and this channel is dedicated to sharing the knowledge that I have gained on my motherhood journey with you, from what doctors and researchers are saying to things that I have uncovered that have worked for me and my baby that might just work for you. Pregnant women do not make the best test subjects for medications, as you can imagine why. Hence, the birth of what the FDA calls the pregnancy medication categories. So, the FDA categorized medication into 5 categories. They're A, B, C, D, and category X. So, what do category medication really means is that it's the potential of a drug to cause birth defect. Now, I'll be going briefly into each one of these, and I'll be reading directly from their website. So if I do look away from you, that will be why. I do not want to misquote or misrepresent any bit of information. I'll also be linking all of this down to the description box below, so you can get all the articles that I use for this video right there as well, because I'm all about sharing information. I just love to share my knowledge and information and everything I can to help other women. So I am going to be reading this here. So the first category we have is category A. So this says drugs in this category have failed to demonstrate a risk to the fetus in the first trimester of pregnancy, and there is no evidence of risk in later trimesters. Now we're going to go on to category B. This says animal reproduction studies have failed to demonstrate a risk to the fetus, and there are no adequate and well-controlled studies in pregnant women. Category C. Animal reproduction studies have shown an adverse effect on the fetus, and there are no adequate and well-controlled studies in humans. But potential benefits may warrant use of the drug in pregnant women despite potential risk. Category D. There is positive evidence of human fetal risk based on adverse reaction data from investigation or marketing experience or studies in humans. Potential benefits may warrant use of the drug in pregnant women despite the potential risk. Category X. Studies in animals or humans have demonstrated fetal abnormalities and/or there is positive evidence of human fetal risk based on adverse reaction data from investigation or marketing experience, and the risk involved in use of the drugs in pregnant women clearly outweigh potential benefits. Now, why am I sharing all of these pregnancy categories, and how do they even matter to you? For me, it was all about peace of mind. I remember when I was first pregnant and I was like, I'm not going to be using any medication, not at all. I'm going to stay away from everything. I'm going to just do this by the books, do this right. But guess what? I needed medication and I had to use it. And some things were like for migraines and headache, because you get a lot of those during your first trimester, and they would recommend medication for that. So I use some medication for that. But coming on to the end of my pregnancy, I had to end up using a couple of antibiotics. And again, I needed these because the benefits to me and my baby outweighed the risk. But for me, it was all about peace of mind, because all the drugs that I use, whenever I was given a prescription, I quickly went to the pharmacist or online just to see what was the pregnancy category, and it gave me peace of mind. I didn't exactly, I remember, I think it was an antibiotic that didn't have like a category A rating. I think it was a category B or maybe C, and that got me worried. But your practitioner or your OB is definitely the go-to person. To I have something in my eye. Of course, I have something in my eye. To give you the best medical advice. But yeah, this is great information to just know, like especially for me, with first thing that I did when I came home from the pharmacy after collecting my medication was just hop online and Google it, but do not trust Google as your main source of medical advice. No, your practitioner is, but they just give me peace of mind to know what I was getting into, like what each medication category was. So I felt more at ease doing so than I did worried. I'm the type of person that just over worries and worries and worries, and my mind is not like shut off at any point in time. So this really, really helped me put myself at ease. I used medication during my first and my very last trimester. Coming on to the end of the pregnancy, I needed 2 types of antibiotics. And of course, again, I was so hesitant to use them because they were not category A. They were, I believe, category B. And I was so, stressed out about it. And I went to the pharmacist. I got a second opinion. I went back to my doctor. But everyone told me the same thing. The benefits to me and my baby definitely outweighed the risk. For me, though, like in my first trimester, I used medication for my nausea. And that kind of put me at ease knowing when I Googled it, it was like a category A. So that, for me, it was the categories, and the point of sharing all these categories with you is just for you to have knowledge and for peace of mind, basically. If you don't understand what each category of medication that you're going to be using when pregnant really means, for me, when I was first given medication, I ran straight to Google to see, what was in it. Not that I know, I'm not a doctor, and what category it was. I'm not saying you need to do this at all. I'm not saying this, is something that's major. I just did it for me. It is so, so, so important that we recognize our individuality here. Because both you and I can be pregnant at the same time, and I could be using medication, and I say, hey, I'm using medication for this, and you, being pregnant, use the same medication, could end up with adverse side effects and adverse consequences. Please, please, please do not do this. Only speak to your practitioner, your OB, when pregnant about any medication you're going to be using, even if it's over the counter. And now, I want to stress on the point of your doctor, because you may have a family member who is a doctor. They could be an OB as well, maybe, You're like, hey, I'm pregnant, I want to do this, I want to use this, or hey, I'm pregnant, this is happening, recommend something for me. Do not do this. Do not seek advice from a family member who is a doctor. Do not seek medical advice from any other YouTuber, even if they're a doctor. And I say this because only your doctor will know you, will know your medical history. That is the only person you should be taking medical advice from. I'm not here to give you medical advice. I'm not a doctor either, of course. So please recognize that. I use medication, but I always use it after consulting with my doctor. My son was born perfectly fine and healthy. I was so worried about having side effects or something going wrong, but sometimes you definitely need to use medication during pregnancy, and it's usually doctors would not tell you to use them if they see everything is going fine for you, especially when you're pregnant. So please, again, speak to your doctor with any medication that you want to use or that is recommended. Do not seek advice from anyone else, YouTubers, even a family member who is a doctor. So that's it for me. If you like this video, please subscribe, and I will have new videos coming every week.